In the third year of my marriage to Luke, he turned 35. I was barely 21. Still a college senior unsure about becoming a full-time housewife when I overheard him telling industry titans at a gathering, Sophie brings nothing to the table except her youth. She'll never measure up to Bella's sophistication. Regret flooded me. Maintaining a mistress would have cost him pennies compared to this divorce settlement. The moment I slid the divorce papers across his desk, relief washed over his face as he saw the no alimony clause. I'll wire you $20 million as compensation, he offered with counterfeit generosity. I smiled, declining. I'm young enough to start over. What he never knew, my brother Gary held the keys to every elite circle he'd clawed his way into. Our divorce wouldn't end my story. But his downfall? That was just beginning. During my senior internship, I deliberately chose Luke's company to secretly admire my handsome husband. As a junior clerk, I kept my presence hidden even from him, no distractions for the mighty CEO. In break rooms, new hires sighed, Mr. Smith is peak masculinity at 35. Pity he's shackled to that nobody. Their gossip stung, but I stayed silent. At 18, Luke had stormed into my life with wedding bands and grand gestures. His whirlwind courtship, part fairy tale, part corporate takeover, left me breathless. For 3 years, I'd basked in his lavish affection until this internship exposed his dirty secrets. Bella, Luke's secretary, a bombshell in pencil skirts who knew his schedule better than he did. She jet-set with him for deals, managed his empire, and, as I discovered, had everyone convinced she was the real Mrs. Smith before our marriage became public. In cafeteria lines, veteran employees muttered, how could he overlook Bella? She gave up her VP title to be his glorified assistant. Their pitying glances followed me. The child bride who'd stolen Bella's rightful place. Watch. Once the passion fades, Luke will eventually divorce and end up with Bella. The rumors are endless. I never paid them any mind. After all, the fire between Luke and me burned fiercely every night. Until that business dinner when Bella got drunk and publicly confessed her feelings to Luke in front of everyone. It was less a confession than an ultimatum. She demanded to know if he carried her in his heart. The silence stretched. When she pressed, if I mean nothing, why won't you approve my resignation? Luke's face darkened before he finally uttered, you do. His gaze turned tender as he added, I can't lose you. That's why I can't sign those papers. Understand? Bella drained a shot glass of baijiu, snatched her purse, and stormed out. 2 heartbeats of frozen air later, Luke bolted after her. Everyone at that gathering had worked with Luke and Bella for years. I wasn't there. But Emily, the office gossip queen with a penchant for chubby cheeks, filmed the whole scene and DM'd it to me. Think anything will happen between Luke and Bella tonight? She texted. Probably not, I typed back. Thumbnail digging crescent moons into my palm. They're adults. History. Liquid courage. Confessions. You really think nothing? He's married. She's not homewrecker material. My reply felt like swallowing glass. True. But we'll know tomorrow. I didn't grasp her meaning until exiting the chat. Luke's message blinked, staying out tonight. Business. My fingers trembled dialing. Ring. 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 Hey sweetheart. His voice caramel smooth when he finally picked up. Phone was muted. What's up? Not coming home? Can't ditch the team. You understand. I bit through my lip. Any women there? A beat. His laugh grated. Since when do you check up on me? Want me to pan the room? Behind his words, fabric whispered, the telltale rustle of Egyptian cotton against dress shirts. We'd made that sound ourselves. Tangled in hotel sheets during better days. A groan rumbled through the receiver. My stomach dropped. 3 years of marriage taught me that particular growl, the primal release he didn't even realize he made during climax. Good. I don't even have to stop him from cheating anymore. The cheating? He's already done it. I laughed bitterly. No need for the video, I don't want to go blind. Have fun. I'm going to bed. Numb with despair. I was about to hang up when Luke's hoarse voice came through. Sophie. I finalized a major deal tonight. Starting tomorrow, the team will be working overtime. I might be late every day, don't wait up for dinners. Working overtime? Or spending overtime with Bella? It didn't matter to me anymore. The call ended. I didn't sleep all night, dragging myself to the office with dark circles. I barely registered my chubby coworker bouncing over to continue yesterday's gossip. Something definitely happened between Luke and Bella last night. My brow furrowed as she whispered. His suit was wrinkled this morning, same clothes as yesterday. He never went home. I nodded absently. And Bella was late today. She pressed. But she looked radiant. That icy workaholic? Totally transformed. Transformed how? Softer. Sexier. That clingy vibe, see for yourself. Bella strode in wearing a form-fitting bodycon dress, the exact one I'd picked out shopping with Luke. My size had been backordered, so we'd prepaid for delivery to his address. Turns out it arrived, for someone else. Humming cheerfully, Bella took coffee orders. The office buzzed with excitement while I shriveled in my corner. Work couldn't distract me. By lunch, I listlessly picked at takeout as Bella carried lavish meal boxes into Luke's office. She stayed until dusk. My coworker snorted. Disgusting. Of all men. She goes after a married one? Emily near the executive suite says Bella practically jumped into Luke's lap, nearly turned the office into a motel. She forwarded a blurry photo, Bella perched on Luke's thigh, feeding him with coquettish precision. Imagine how his wife would feel seeing this. She sighed. I stared at the screen. Imagine indeed. Manager Williams, sitting across from us, furrowed his brow. They're clearly into each other. Why are you meddling? The chubby girl didn't catch his implication and joked. Yeah. Clearly the other woman kind of into. Manager Williams' expression darkened. He threw an inventory ledger at her. Since you're so free, finish this before leaving. The girl pouted. I quietly texted her. He's known Bella for years. Obviously he'd take her side. Watch your words next time. She responded with crying emojis. I comforted her. I'll help with the ledger. We'll grab crawfish after. She immediately brightened. That evening, as we finally finished our overtime and headed out, Manager Williams stopped us. You've worked hard. Let's get supper. Before we could protest, he herded us to a restaurant near the office. After dinner, we got dragged to KTV. Resentful but powerless as interns, we hid in a dark corner playing Honor of Kings. Engrossed in the game, we didn't notice people filtering into the private room until I heard a familiar voice. Luke sat center stage, surrounded by industry heavyweights. They discussed projects initially, then drifted into personal matters: kids, wives, in-laws, and inevitably, mistresses. Bella posted about lovers finally uniting. Did you finally bet her? Someone asked. My ears perked up. Luke said calmly. She backed me into a corner that day. Threatened to resign if I didn't take her. You all know we can't function without Bella at the company, or without her personally. But would she settle for being a mistress? Don't screw this up. Luke. We saw how hard you worked to marry that college girl. Exactly. However many flings you have, if your wife finds out, Bella doesn't mind. Why should Sophie care? After being spoiled all these years, she'd never survive ordinary life now. Even if she knew about affairs, she'd stay put. At least she gets to be Mrs. Smith. The group concluded Luke only needed to keep Bella content, as his wife couldn't make waves anyway. They toasted his double happiness. The girl beside me wrinkled her nose. Disgusting, she whispered, then added, but they're not wrong. Sophie's still in college, right? No connections or skills. Making noise would ruin her. What do you think? I nodded. People handle things civilly these days. Even divorce. Luke set down his glass. Sophie's only got youth going for her. Bella's more sophisticated. But who knows how long her pride will last. I regret marrying. Mistresses cost pennies compared to divorce settlements. So that's what concerned him. After all, Luke and I are legally married. Divorce would split his marital assets. Then let Luke have his wish. I could leave with nothing. But he'd have to bear the consequences of my walking away empty-handed. Until the end. Bella picked up the drunken Luke. I watched from afar as they embraced. Lips locked. Years of pent-up tension. Perhaps. Their car began rocking rhythmically once they climbed in. Silently. I recorded everything. Then I called Gary. What's up, kiddo? Rare to get your call this late. His voice cracked something fragile inside me. A tear slipped out before I could stop it. Sophie? You're crying? My choked silence had him demanding my location. Through hiccups, I mumbled an address. 30 minutes later, he found me shivering on a sidewalk bench. Gary draped his coat over me and sat quietly. Where's Luke? He's having an affair. His jaw clenched. Where is he? I'll end that bastard. I gripped his wrist. Don't. He's not worth the stain. Gary kicked the pavement violently. Then turned to me. Divorce? I nodded without hesitation. Any chance this is a misunderstanding? Scrolling through my evidence, videos, timestamps, damning photos, I said nothing. Gary pulled out his phone, firing off calls. First to his attorney friend drafting divorce papers. Next to Luke's suppliers, cancel pending contracts. Halt renewals. Revoke all discounts effective immediately. Come on, he said, helping me up. Let's go home. I shook my head. Tears glinting. Need to move out first. He drove straight to the mansion Luke bought. 3 years here. Yet I felt nothing packing my suitcase. Want the house? I'll get you the sharkiest lawyer. No. I zipped the bag shut. Everything touching Luke feels contaminated now. As we left, I thought Luke would reach out first. He didn't. A week had passed. Luke Smith hadn't noticed I'd moved out. He still sent his daily text, working late tonight. Don't wait up. Meanwhile, I watched him parade around the office with Bella White. After Emily Davis called Bella a mistress, Manager Williams piled endless work on her. I couldn't let her shoulder it alone. So we became late-night office companions. Our overtime sessions always coincided with interesting noises from the executive office. Luke is too cheap to spring for a hotel room. Emily grumbled during one particularly loud evening. I forced a smile. Maybe he prefers the ambience here. I might have accidentally recorded some compromising footage during my occasional walks past that door. Call it insurance. When our internship ended, Emily confessed she wanted to stay. Job market's brutal. I hate Luke's guts. But bills don't pay themselves. I wished her luck. She asked about my plans. Just need that completion certificate before getting the hell out of here. I answered. The betrayal came during final evaluations. I stood alone as the only intern deemed incompetent. Confronting HR. I got stonewalled with a mess. White's decision. Emily found me packing. Through tears. She confessed someone overheard us calling Bella a mistress. All those late nights? Bella's revenge. I told her it was your idea. I thought she'd just blacklist you. Not revoke your certificate. I'm sorry. Laughter bubbled up bitter. Furious laughter. Partly at my friend's betrayal. Mostly at Bella's petty tyranny. You're forgiven, I said, grabbing my files. But remember this dash. My shout echoed through the silent office. Bella White's a mistress. Since when can't we say it loud? Every head snapped up as I stormed into the boardroom where executives gaped at my entrance. My failed evaluation report crumpled in my fist. I smiled at the frozen suits. Let the fireworks begin. The executives in the conference room frowned at my ill-timed intrusion, their expressions dripping with disdain for this clueless young woman. Understandable. After being married to Luke for 3 years, not a single person in his company knew what his wife looked like. Not even Bella. Only Luke showed a flicker of surprise when he saw me, though he remained silent. It was Bella, the meeting facilitator, who spoke first. Tipping her chin up with polished maturity, she snapped. What's so urgent it can't wait? I didn't hold back. Bella, did you block my internship certification because I called you Luke's mistress? Eyes around the table darted to Bella. She stiffened, clearly unprepared for an intern's audacity. If you already know, she said coldly. Why bother asking? Office gossip required decisive action. And in her eyes, I was the sacrificial lamb. Meeting her glare, I amplified my voice. I apologize. Bella, I shouldn't have called you Luke's mistress. Her composure cracked momentarily before she crossed her arms. Too late for apologies. I turned to Luke. His stormy expression radiated displeasure. As if he had any right to be offended, he'd started this humiliation. Not late at all, I countered, flinging the door open. Let me correct the record. Bella isn't even qualified to be a mistress. Those require formal recognition from the legal wife in traditional settings. She's just an unacknowledged fling, unworthy of family registry inclusion. The room erupted in whispers as realization dawned. All eyes shifted between Bella's ashen face and Luke's thunderous expression. After 4 years together, dating and marriage, this was my first glimpse of his fury. Enough! He barked. Enough? I laughed bitterly. I wanted dignity. You denied it. Just give me my internship certificate. Luke's chest heaved. Certifications depend on department evaluations. Take it up with your supervisor. Not Bella. Bolstered by his defense, Bella straightened. Exactly. I'm just the executive secretary. Lies. The entire company danced to Luke's tune. His deflection only confirmed his priority, protecting Bella's reputation over his wife's. Meeting his gaze squarely, I dropped my final card. What if I trade this for it? The divorce papers slapped against the conference table. I'll walk away with nothing in exchange for that certificate. You're getting a bargain. The air thickened as Luke's billion-dollar empire seemed to hang in the balance. Leaving with nothing meant giving up a fortune. Even Luke and Bella's expressions shifted. The board members in the conference room perked up instantly. Someone quietly slipped out first, and soon the rest followed. These people had deep ties to Luke and Bella. They wouldn't care about an outsider like me. If anything, they'd celebrate my voluntary surrender. Without me siphoning Luke's wealth, his position would solidify. Bella could focus entirely on him and the company. Luke, I said, I'll step out so you two can talk. He gripped Bella's hand. Stay. We've got nothing to hide. Nothing to hide? What a noble display. How disgusting. I'd braced myself for this, but seeing them flaunt their closeness still stung. I inhaled sharply, steadying my voice as I slid the signed agreement toward them. Luke ignored it, nudging the papers to Bella. Review this. Is it acceptable? Bella scanned the document, her lips twitching with suppressed triumph. It's airtight, she declared, handing Luke a pen. She gets nothing. He hesitated, locking eyes with me. Are you certain about the divorce? Do I look like a trash collector? Think carefully. A divorced woman might struggle to find a high-quality man. Bella isn't so inflexible. I nearly laughed. Turning to Bella, I countered. Your flexibility couldn't even grant me an internship certificate after 3 months of work. She opened her mouth to protest, but I cut her off. Let's skip the excuses. Paint me as the villain. The third wheel, I don't care. All I want is what I earned. And for both of you to vanish from my life. Luke finally signed as Bella blinked back theatrical tears. The divorce papers stipulated a 3-month cooling-off period before finalization. He stamped my internship certificate and slid it across the table. As I turned to leave, he called out, "Sophie, this was impulsive. I'll wire you $20 million as compensation. Keep it as a wedding gift." I said. "Hope it's enough." Bella sniffed. $20 million's more than you'll ever need. Stop being dramatic. If I wanted mere survival. I said. Why bother divorcing? Or should I reconsider? She stiffened, wisely shutting up. Luke sighed like a disappointed mentor. You're too young to understand the consequences. I smiled. Youth means I can afford risks. Divorce isn't some earth-shattering event. Life goes on. I'm only 21, my whole future's ahead of me. And I'll live it exactly how I want. Back home, my brother Gary was too busy to spend time with me. So his wife took me on a shopping spree getaway to clear my head. Gradually, the emotional fog lifted. I might have even forgotten Luke existed if he hadn't shown up at our doorstep. From my upstairs window, I watched him arrive with gifts. That old ache flickered in my chest. Ever since Gary cut ties with Luke's suppliers, my sister-in-law murmured, Bella keeps ambushing him at the office, always discussing profit margins. But smart enough not to doorstep us. Must be desperate if Luke's groveling here himself. Should I let him in? She'd noticed my tension. I shook my head. Gary's no fool. If Luke offered better terms than anyone else, he'd already be inside. Clearly, he doesn't. Your brother's just worried you're not over him. Please, he hasn't even called since the divorce papers were signed. That's answer enough. I forced a smile. Really? Let Gary handle business however he wants. She turned Luke away. Yet he returned next day with different gifts, thoughtful, personalized touches that once would have melted me. For 7 straight days, he camped on our porch waiting for Gary. Had this been about reconciliation, maybe I'd have cracked. But no, just business. Eventually, my sister-in-law called Gary, "Fix this before Sophie loses her mind." He dispatched associates to Luke's firm with spreadsheets proving why Johnson Group needed better partners. Luke conceded. No more porch vigils. Then came the corporate gala. I'd worn jeans to Gary's product launch, planning to grab appetizers and bail. Until someone shoved me, sending my soda cascading over a socialite's gown. "That's an original design. Emily," crowed a venomous voice. "Better start selling organs to pay up." Bella smirked in blood-red couture. Uglier than ever. "Name the dry cleaning fee," I told the startled socialite, blotting her skirt. Bella cut in, "Oh. But intentional damage requires full replacement cost." Funny. I smiled coldly. Since security footage will show who accidentally bumped me. Unless mess. White prefers explaining this to my brother's lawyers. Her rouge deepened to mortified scarlet. Classic Bella, all bark. No bite when consequences bit back. Mrs. Lou. This dress is a couture limited edition worth over $100,000. Do you really think you can afford to pay for this? Mrs. Lou frowned and immediately pulled me behind her protectively. "Miss Bella. I'm not blind. You pushed her first, making her spill soda all over me. I haven't even asked Sophie to compensate me yet. Since when did this become your business?" Her raised voice drew curious glances from nearby guests. Bella froze, realizing she'd trapped herself. I smirked coldly. She thought me some helpless nobody. But Mrs. Lou had been my sister-in-law's close friend for years. Between family connections and childhood bonds, Mrs. Lou would never side with her. I was just greeting her. Bella stammered, throat working. Save it, Mrs. Lou snorted. I won't make you pay. Considering you're clinging to some bankrupt businessman without even official status. Must be tight financially. Bella's eyes reddened at the public humiliation. The commotion drew my brother Gary over. What's happening? Before I could speak, Mrs. Lou summarized events. Gary's gaze turned icy. Apologize. Now. Everyone knew Bella needed Gary's favor. Choking back pride, she spat out "I'm sorry" through clenched teeth. Still defiant, she hissed, Mr. Johnson, does your wife know you're parading this used goods around? Gary smirked. Feel free to ask her yourself. The crowd dispersed with disdainful snickers. I spent the rest of the event glued to Gary's side, safe from clueless social climbers. Bella approached other guests desperately, only to have business cards trampled underfoot, her most humiliating professional moment. Until Luke arrived. She tearfully complained to him before he approached me. Gary raised an eyebrow. Want him removed? No. I said. Let's hear his script. You go mingle. Luke sat across me. Handsome as ever but weary. His company must be struggling. Sophie. Long time. You chose this? His lip curled. Being his mistress over being Mrs. Smith? I blinked. Oh. He thought Gary and I find that amusing? I tilted my head. Rather be a homewrecker than my wife? His bitter laugh held decades-old resentment. Pathetic. I went along with his words, it's tolerable. Not entirely boring. His tone hardened, stop this. I'll pretend I never saw that divorce agreement. Come back to me. You'll still be Mrs. Smith. I suddenly laughed. Genuinely perplexed. What are you talking about? He took a deep breath. I understand you want revenge. But don't be childish. Trading your youth for fleeting affection from some man gains you nothing. Gary isn't right for you, he'll never divorce his wife for you. Stop wasting your energy. Gary was my brother's name. I waited silently for Luke's next move. During our separation, I gave you space to learn your lesson. But this? His jaw tightened. This self-destructive path? My fault. I suppose. But Bella has been indispensable, she's closed 90% of our deals under immense pressure. The company needs her. You should have understood instead of clinging to Gary for petty retaliation. This is beneath you. His apology glimmered for half a breath before evaporating into the old song, keeping both mistress and wife. I tilted my wine glass. Smiling. You've misunderstood several key points. Such as? Toying with the fruit platter. I let the silence stretch before enunciating. Most contracts Bella secured came through Johnson Group. Its executive? Gary Johnson. My brother. Luke's brow furrowed. Impossible. Different surnames. We practice egalitarian naming, he took our fathers. I our mothers. Shall I have him and his wife verify? His champagne flute froze mid-sip. So those deals, they were actually. My brother supported his brother-in-law's ventures. Now that the sisters divorced? I shrugged. No more family discounts. Frankly, your reckless expansion and quality compromises have troubled Johnson Group for years. The divorce simply revealed how much your greed exploited my brother's staff. His complexion grayed like weathered marble. I delegated negotiations to Bella. I never imagined she'd. Cutting through his excuses. I played the surveillance footage, Bella giggling against a paunchy 50-something. His sausage fingers roaming her hips as they entered a love hotel. That's Johnson Group's supplier from Nantung. I murmured as Luke's face darkened. She must truly love you, I'd never debase myself like that. Treasure her. I wish you both happiness. Leaving the gala. I received Gary's call before reaching home. Luke stormed out after you left. Bella chased him through the parking lot. He shoved her onto concrete. No remorse. My brother's voice tightened. That man's ice through. Glad you saw through him. How long until his company collapses? Months. Maybe years if he finds new backing. Competent executive. Wretched judge of character. Beyond Bella. His senior team are vipers compared to her garden snake. Graduation day brought unexpected company, the plump intern from Luke's office. Shadows under her eyes. She blocked my path. Trembling, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to. I walked past without glancing. Some betrayals even bouquets couldn't sweeten. I sighed helplessly. I accept your apology. But expecting us to be as close as before, isn't that asking too much? The chubby girl's eyes reddened as she understood my meaning. Yet she still told me about Luke's company situation. Smith Corporation had declared bankruptcy, with the board dumping all debts onto Luke. Those board members had long ago leaked company secrets to rival firms as bargaining chips for their job transitions. Now Luke was practically cornered. And that Bella, she got caught up in some sex scandal. Several CEOs' wives banded together and stormed the office to beat her up. My interest piqued. I urged the girl for details. Bella had broken bones and bruises everywhere. Furious. She tried forcing Luke into marriage to salvage her reputation. But he refused. Worse. Luke publicly released hotel surveillance footage of Bella with some sugar daddy online. She went ballistic, screaming that everything she'd done was to save his company. But Luke showed no gratitude. Their shouting match turned physical. Luke retaliated so violently he smashed the office desk. After that incident, Bella left the company. Luke took over her projects, running around trying to salvage things. But you can imagine how that went. The girl's gossip ended there as she got laid off without severance. Now job hunting again. I handed her a business card. Contact this person. They'll set you up with work. She thanked me tearfully. Walking away, I marveled at how quickly everything collapsed. 3 months later at the divorce appointment, Luke appeared impeccably dressed with flowers, tearfully begging for another chance. I ignored him. He never appreciated me during our marriage. And now pulls this pathetic act? Sophie. I was blind. If Bella hadn't seduced me, his love confession reeked of cheap theatrics. Had he reached out even once post-divorce, I might have cherished old memories. But his pride kept him silent all this time, too arrogant to admit needing me. Probably expecting me to swallow all his wrongdoings and future mistakes too. Truth is, had things worked out with Bella, he'd never regret divorcing me. Such calculated selfishness disgusts me. I handed him a card. My bestie's dad heads the state construction procurement department. She's 18 and wants a mature boyfriend. You fit her criteria perfectly. Luke's eyes lit up. Do you think she'd mind my age? I burst out laughing. His face darkened. Look. It was just a little test. He couldn't even handle that. And he had the nerve to say he'd only love me for the rest of his life. So fake it was ridiculous. He immediately backtracked, denying his earlier questions and doubling down on his pathetic attempt to win me back today. No. I meant, do you still hate me? I want to fix this. Let's not get divorced. Okay? Sophie, I do hate you. My blunt rejection left him scrambling to salvage his scripted romantic monologue. I patted his shoulder. Get over it. Sign the papers first. If you make me happy enough afterward, maybe I'll introduce you to my wealthy socialite friends. Sure. They're older, but they're still decent in bed and presentable with enough makeup. His face flushed red. No idea why he'd get embarrassed over this. At least he finally understood there was no future for us. After signing the divorce papers, Luke kept pestering me about the preferences of the girl listed on that business card I'd given him. I made up some nonsense, claimed I was running late, and told him to contact her himself. The moment I got into my car, his call came through. "Sophie," he roared. "What kind of card did you give me? The number goes to some service asking if I want half-night or full-night packages. 300 per session? 800 overnight?" I feigned innocence. "Oh, must have been one of those flyers someone left on my windshield. Just a prank. Luke. Don't get mad, wrinkles aren't attractive in our sugar mommy circle." His furious cursing continued as I hung up and blocked him everywhere. After graduation, I chose studying abroad over taking over the family business. Why stress over corporate schemes when my brother and sister-in-law could handle it? I'd rather enjoy life. At the airport, I spotted Bella, masked and clinging to a septuagenarian she called baby. She shamelessly approached me. "How's Luke doing these days?" When I answered, she smirked. "Funny, someone actually coached that trash into infiltrating your rich cougar club." I offered him a stable marriage to rebuild his life. But he called me poor. Chose gold digging instead. She adjusted her sunglasses. "You should thank me. Without my interference, that leech would have drained you dry." As she strutted away, I scrolled to the video of Luke stripping for my friends. Pathetic. I texted the group chat, $1,000 per drink. Make sure he regrets existing. Years abroad flew by peacefully until a night out with friends. There he was, Luke, now a gyrating pole dancer. I stared, thinking I'd hallucinated. Throughout the evening, I watched younger women stuff cash down his pants and laughed as he begged for more. I couldn't help but sigh. My past self was truly blind. After settling the bill, my friend and I headed home. Luke was getting beer dumped on him while soliciting customers at the entrance, groveling pathetically to apologize. When he looked up, our eyes accidentally met. "Sophie," he uttered. I smirked and handed him the loose change from my purse. His body stiffened. By the time I got into the car, through the rearview mirror I saw him rooted to the spot like a statue. God knows what dark thoughts filled those lifeless eyes of his. But ultimately, regret changes nothing.